guys, what's up? Excoundrel here, and welcome to my video on 5v5 in Vainglory, just talking about what will change from the 3 vs 3 map. Now, there's been plenty of concept art drawn up and shown, so many different changes about what they're expecting to bring to the table in terms of the Vainglory 5v5 experience, but I'm not here to talk about how the map will look or the aesthetics or anything like that. That will be released in due time. I have heard some discussions and ideas about it at the Vainglory headquarters, but it's not up to me to release that, and I don't want to spoil the surprise for you guys, but I know it's going to be pretty cool, so I'm really looking forward to the announcements when the 5v5 map is ready to be shown. What I'm here to talk about is how the gameplay is going to differ. How it's going to change your experience that you have now to the experience that you could have in the 5v5 in the future. Now, to win a game of 3v3 in Vainglory, you have to get through the choke point turrets, and that relies on you having a 3v3 team fight or some form of catch, but the core concept is you have to fight to get there. It relies on you being a better mechanical player than your opponent in some way, shape or form. All drafts are centered around the ability to counter to kill. You counter the enemy hero to kill them to give you that opportunity to push turrets. There is limited macro tactics, and when I say macro I mean map-wide tactics in Vainglory 3v3 right now. It's very much centered around who is the better mechanical player. If you are better at tapping in the right places at the right time than your opponent, on law of averages, you're going to win more games. This experience will change when the 5v5 map comes out. Now, just to explain a 5v5 map, I have a big background in League of Legends casting. For those of you that don't know what League of Legends is, it's probably the most popular PC MOBA experience in the world right now. It is a 5v5 map. It kind of bred the very concept of what a 5v5 map should look like, and a lot of MOBAs have continued that trend and used the League of Legends base plate to expand from in their own form. I know that Vainglory is drawing a lot of inspiration from League of Legends, because you would be very silly not to. It is the best game in the world, or on PC the best game in the world, for a reason. So there's going to be two vein crystals. It's going to be A and B side. What Vainglory is very keen to do, from what I know anyway, is keep it on a left to right experience on your mobile platform. They want to keep it playing left side of the screen to right side of the screen. A traditional MOBA would have you play from the bottom left-hand corner of your screen to the top right-hand corner of your screen, so that you are on a 45-degree angle. Vainglory has tried to keep the experience the way that the 3v3 map is set up, so that everything is on a horizontal axis and not tilted to that 45-degree or so angle that the likes of League of Legends and Dota 2 are. There's going to be two neutral monster pits, and they're going to be the things like Kraken. As far as I'm aware, anyway, this could be changing. But as far as I'm aware, there's going to be two Kraken-like monsters on the fold, or I don't even know what's going to be called. It probably won't be called the fold, but there's going to be two large monsters that your team can take. I assume one of them is going to be of lesser importance. That is the general theme when it comes to it, but it gives an area of the map that your team will have to play around. You've also got to look at the fact there are 3 lanes with 3 turrets apiece. You can win the game from any one of these lanes. You don't need to just push down middle, you don't need to push down all of the lanes, it's just going to be one lane that you need to take all the turrets down before you get access to the vein crystal. We're also going to assume that getting past that turrets in base is going to affect the minion wave, because what's a big part of a 5v5 MOBA is controlling minion waves in the side lanes. You have 3 lanes to push through, so there's going to be minion waves in every single lane. And what you have to realise here is that the fact that you've got 3 lanes opens up so many different tactics in terms of global strategies of winning a game. You have strategies that come, all the way from similar to what you're seeing on the 3v3 experience, which are like team fight compositions, where you're just aiming to beat your enemy in a straight-up brawl. You've got all the way things to like siege compositions, where you're trying to take down turrets specifically. So you're building a composition that either as a 5 or separate units are specifically designed to take down the turrets. Or you have things like split push, which is a very common tactic in a 5v5 MOBA, where you have a singular hero or 2 heroes in the side lanes pushing the waves continuously. Their main aim is to get turrets while the rest of your team tries to hold on elsewhere on the map. This is where the likes of Saw may find viability again in Vainglory, because he's a very good pusher. He pushes lanes very quickly, he pushes turrets very quickly. So you can imagine having Saw just sitting there pushing a turret in the side lane the entire time while your team creates a nuisance on the rest of the map. That's a pretty viable tactic that could become part of the core gameplay experience of Vainglory. I also talked about how getting to the base would obviously affect minion waves. There is limited control that you can apply to the 3v3 map in terms of minion waves. You can freeze or you can push. It's pretty much all you can do. When you have 3 lanes, there's 3 different ways that you control minion waves. Obviously, freeze and push applies to all of them, but the way that you freeze and push the lanes is going to impact how the game plays out. You can presumably slow push a lane, which is trying to push the minion waves in a long lane very slowly, build up a big minion wave in your favour, resulting in your opponent needing to come and deal with it. Also, the fact that we've got long lanes means that the jungle is going to be that much more impactful. The area that I'm highlighting in green is going to be an area that is considered the jungle. So if you're a jungler, it's likely that you're going to have much more impact in the overall state of the game, simply because there's so many different areas that you can impact and so many different areas you can come from. Obviously, you know, depending on the entrances to lanes, because you're so far away from your base, and because obviously traveling to these side lanes will take a lot longer if you get killed, if you can get a kill in lane, often it's going to result in a bigger impact on the map in general. And because each individual lane is an avenue to win the game, often you can invest your resources in a specific lane. Maybe you have a lane with a hero that is in key to your composition. You want to get that Saw that is split pushing ahead, so you can invest your resources and spend your time in the top lane. Having a 5v5 map is only going to increase the amount of decisions that you get to make in Vainglory, and decisions is what sets you apart from mechanical players. So your map awareness, your ability to call objectives, your ability to know where to be on the map is going to help you win games of Vainglory, even if you're not the best mechanical player in the world. And that's what the 5v5 map is going to open up for a lot of Vainglory players. No longer will you just have to be the best mechanically. If you know how to play the game and you know how to impact the lanes, you know how to impact certain heroes, that's going to give you the edge over other Vainglory players that don't. If you imagine playing up against a mechanical god, and yeah, okay, if you get locked into a 1v1 with them, they're going to shred you. But if you avoid them the whole game, you go to the right lane at the right time, you gank at the right time, you push a turret at the right time, you get a global objective at the right time, because you know what to do, and that mechanical player doesn't, you might never actually face them in a 1v1 on this side of the map, because of how big it is, and how much area there is to cover on the Vainglory 5v5 map. So if you can play the game smarter than your opponent, it will give you that advantage. And that's what this 5v5 experience is going to open. It's going to give players who know more about the game and know how to play the game, but aren't necessarily the best at executing it, the chance to shine. The interesting thing about the new 5v5 map is how they're going to keep the games as short as possible. You don't want to be having experiences that are similar length to that of a League of Legends game, which can go anywhere up to 45 minutes and plus. When you're playing a mobile game, you want to keep it a short, impactful experience. So I'm looking forward to seeing the ideas behind keeping the Vainglory 5v5 experience short and exciting, similar to that of 3v3, without going overboard. See you soon.